Morning, Monday, September 9th. This is a scheduled meeting of the Griggs County Commission. Please all rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move on to roll call. Avriel
I haven't heard
is
from
not
him.
present. Tranby.
Here.
Zorn.
Here.
Edlund.
Here.
And Wakefield's present. Have a look at the agenda.
You guys wanted to put on COVID monies on the agenda for this time. Me and Maddie didn't have the time to
Okay.
get together, so we're working on
That's
it to
fine.
get you some more information. So we'll have it by the next meeting.
That's fine.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the audit and the sales ratio study.
Just to discuss the,
Yeah.
'cause we don't have any information on either one of them.
We got the audit's been approved.
Yeah, we
I
had
know.
the audit. That
Yeah,
came back.
yeah.
That's something is in the packet, that audit?
No, it's not in the packet. I saw it was sent out.
It was sent out, we should probably discuss
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And that, all that, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'll second that, so.
We have a motion by Edlin to approve the agenda with the addition of a discussion on the sales ratio study and the audit. Is there a second by Tranby? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved. Have a look at the August 19th meeting minutes. When you're ready, we'll need a motion to approve and hopefully dispense with the reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and dispense with the reading.
We have a motion by Edlin to approve the August 19th meeting minutes and dispense with the reading. Would there be a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. Any further discussion? Barring no further discussion, move on to the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. August 19th meeting minutes approved. If you'll have a look at the bills, any questions? Sam, is there anything on the bills?
Nope.
Nothing else on the bills. They're fairly straightforward. This is an off month, correct? Or off week?
The one for Robin Williams, she got to be a notary, so that is why it's being taken out of general courthouse. So she's able to be utilized by the whole courthouse and not just my office or.
Thought I did have one.
She's a new hire, right? You
Yes.
hired her?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's my deputy.
Okay.
Oh, I know, on page 6, on the
Yeah.
general courthouse, I didn't quite understand that.
Okay, page 6 is not my page 6.
Page the
That's Robin Williams.
241.
Yep, so that's what Robin Williams.
No, I didn't understand the general courthouse, the unpaid.
No, those are totals. Those are your totals for all of them. Yep.
115,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's not coming out of general courthouse.
okay.
Yep.
It looks similar to the courthouse, the payment for the building. I
Yeah,
don't know
no.
what was going on there.
Nope, not that one.
I make a motion to approve the bills.
We have a motion by Edlin to approve the bills as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tranby. Any further discussion? Barring no further discussion, we'll move on to a roll call vote. Aye to the positive, nay to the negative. Tranby,
Aye.
Zorn,
Aye.
Edlin.
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Bills approved. I assume everybody's looked at the monthly office reports. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Road Superintendent, Wayne.
Yes. This is a 911
memorandum that we didn't sign.
Mm-hmm.
For state radio is raising the 911 fees next July to $1.59 per line,
Mm-hmm.
and it needs to be signed and sent in because
From $1.
from $1.39 to
Yeah.
$1.59.
Any explanation on why that was the case?
Well, they said they hired more people, just like you said. They have more expenses and whatever. So, and plus just the cost of living, and that's the reasoning.
Do we have any
So, like, it's just
recourse on this, or is just sign it, or what are the options? I mean, it isn't.
there is no options really. I mean, because well, there's 27 counties, I think it is now, that belong to the state radio 911.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the rest of them have their own,
Cass
like Cass
County.
County,
Yeah.
Grand Forks County, Devils Lake, or Ramsey, Barnes County. They have, and then there's some out west that have their own CPAPs.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
to answering 911 calls. So,
Do we need a motion to approve that?
yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the new contract.
Do we have a copy of it somewhere?
In your packet.
It's in the back. It's okay. So everybody can
And
see
then
it.
Jamie did look at it, correct? Jamie?
He's not on yet.
Yeah, he looked
You
at
did
it.
look at it? Okay. No.
Not yet.
Oh,
Not the updated version of it. You looked at it. Remember we talked about this
yeah.
a few months ago, 3 months ago.
Right.
You looked at it then, but there's been some discussion, from what I understand, with the state and the Association of Counties about this, correct, Wayne? There was
Well,
there was some negotiation.
Yeah, we tried to negotiate, but they pretty much said this is it. So
Okay.
this is what the auditors recommended, and they always have. So by law, we have to have somebody handle all our 911 calls, and they have a 911 system, so. The only recourse was to try to get an increase in fees. They said Griggs County is one of the highest counties. We're collecting the $2. Siren, State Interoperable Radio Network. And then the 911. A lot of them pay the extra out of their general fund. But we have a reserve in the 911, and that will cover 6 months at least, and probably the next year. So sure, it'll cover. We'll be able to see what it costs more after this year and next year. You know, the funds are being handled different because the money goes directly to associations, counties, and then they check, make sure that all the payments are coming from all the different entities,
But they take another 5% for
and then they
doing
send
that.
it, yeah.
On the 5%, is that on every call then?
Line, I think.
It's on every line.
Line fees.
It's billed per line, not per call, correct, Wayne? That's the way it was before.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make a second on that.
So if you want to see changes, it'd be a good time to attend that conference, North Dakota Association of Counties Conference. Say what you think. They have special meetings for commissioners, and so.
When is
So
that?
should we talk?
October?
Should we talk to, okay, we have a motion to approve the Dakota Emergency Services Memorandum Agreement. We have by Edlin, we have a second by Tranby. We should have some discussion on this. We
Yep.
should have some time to, whether or not this is has to be signed now, or if we should talk to Jamie, and if we should just,
Well, I talked to Jamie.
this off a
Jamie,
little bit.
I talked to Jamie. I said, remember, Mr. Wakefield asked you to look it over, and he said, well, we have to pay it, he said. So,
Okay. We have a motion and a second for the North Dakota Emergency Services Memorandum of Agreement. Is there any more discussion on it?
If it doesn't get through today, then what? I mean, the deadline is now and we'll.
deadline was August 1st,
Oh,
so,
so,
Yeah.
so we're the only county that hasn't signed it yet.
okay.
Any further discussion? Absent no further discussion, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Memorandum of Agreement approved. I gotta sign that?
Yeah. And that's the one that's not by DocuSign, correct?
Right.
Right. Yep, you have to actually sign that one. Thank you.
Anything else, Wayne?
Received through Samantha a letter from the DOT, Special Road Fund Project applications. DOT is accepting applications for special road fund projects. They're limited to roads that provide access to and are within recreational, tourist, and historical areas. Intent of this program is to help finance highway projects identified by political subdivisions and state agencies which typically have some funding but need additional help. We are soliciting counties, cities, and state agencies to identify projects of this nature. And also soliciting applications for the 2025 to 2026 year. They must be submitted by November 30th. There's a limit, $300,000 limit to the amount of money that you can get. So the rest would have to be funded by local funds.
So does the road going into Red Willow qualify for this?
I think so.
That's why I asked Brian to show up here today, you know, that's why he's here.
Yeah, there's always been money, there's always been the problem of trying to find money for that thing, and that's,
You know, I talked to Paul Bjornson about it, and it's gonna cost
2
like $1
million.
million probably,
Yeah,
because there's spots that have to be dug up
yep,
and
Yep, there is.
reset, put new culverts in and stuff, where these dips are and stuff.
yeah.
And I know the last time that we overlaid it, it was just right at the edge of being too narrow
Yep,
to receive funds, especially that east end, from the slough to the
Yep.
highway.
Yeah.
Straight up and down, so they had to put their slough over the edge a little bit, so,
it doesn't hurt to apply for the funding.
no.
I mean, we've still got, in my estimation, that road between McHenry and Binford is.
The first priority.
It needs to be up there somewhere, because
Yeah,
that
I
is a
agree.
safe, that's a safety
I agree.
issue. But this certainly is, there's a lot of tax dollars generated at Red Willow Lake.
Yep.
And there certainly needs to be some emphasis put on that. Because it is at certain times of the year, it's not impassable, but it's only passable at about 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But I guess in the spring when the frosties come up.
Yeah,
Yeah, they changed during the winter.
it stays that way during the winter time it stays pretty rough all winter long. It's as smooth as it is right now. It is, and it's not real smooth. But yeah, this funding and the huge increase in construction costs is certainly putting a damper on everything, and but the more we can try to amass and funding to put towards these projects, and that's where we're gonna have to be. What's the status of the bridge? That's been delayed now, hasn't it?
Status of the bridge, I mean, I think they were still waiting for funds
Right.
to be replenished now this fall, like in October or something like that. And then
That's
we'll be
all
able to-
federal fund, that was completely
That's
federal
all
funding.
federal funds, yep.
And that money can't be used for anything else. Well, of course, it can't even be used for building a bridge, because they took it away from us for gave it to us and took it
So
away.
hopefully it gets through this
Yeah,
funding period. Otherwise it's closed. but-
Weren't they thinking about December or something like that for bids? Hopefully, open for
Yeah.
bids.
but,
I
yeah,
know,
with
I'm
the
not
funding
saying
not
that's what
approved, not, no, I don't
I
think.
think-
This will get pushed over
It'll be
way
in the-
into
it'll be into
25 now,
25.
yeah.
Which the bridge will be till 26.
So do we need any engineering work done in order to apply for the grant or not?
We probably have, well,
On,
to
Red
get
Willow
a
Road?
more accurate estimate maybe of what it's gonna cost to do it,
Yeah,
you know. Or-
there's just some things on that road that no matter what you do, you're not gonna fix because of the freeze-thaw cycle, because of the water's sitting there, it never drains out, so the water expands at a greater rate than the soil, and absent a bridge on three, over those three culverts, you're not gonna get rid of that seasonal bump, but the rest of it could be fixed, and the potholes are starting to break through.
Does it
Yeah.
need three?
There's three,
Does
yeah.
it need three, do you think? I mean, if it ever would get in the plan to
The-
be
the-
fixed,
the-
could it get down to one? Because it all, I mean, it's going to one spot.
The two west ones could seem to me could be combined.
Yeah, they could go down the ditch and then,
Yeah.
it just seems like three,
The
doing all the
the
same
farthest,
thing.
yeah, the farthest east one is a main drain out of there. The two, I'm not sure what the two west ones were. They afterthought, or were they beforehand and the
They
big
were
one?
there, they were there, and then when we were gonna do the repaving or the overlay, they'd been in there for 50 years.
Yeah.
So I took them out and put in new culverts. We hauled in material from over in Gilbertson's
Yeah.
land over there. There was some clay, and of course, anytime you mix different soils, they have
Yeah.
different expansion.
Absolutely.
You know,
And water
So clay
expands. Water expands at a
very
greater
fast.
rate than anything, and there's water sitting there every year when it freezes up.
could
Those
maybe
culverts
get down to one bump instead
never
of
go
three.
dry.
yeah.
It would take a lot of reshaping of the ditch on the south side, because
Yeah.
you know, the water to the west, to the far east one comes around, it stays away from the ditch, and then comes in from the, and that was the original channel between those
Yeah.
two sloughs, and then
Right.
the two west ones were secondary. They're supposed to drain the ditch,
Yeah.
and there's water in both of them, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to have a look at that and see what we can do.
And that, when we turn south and go towards the restaurant pavilion, there's a little concrete box
Yeah,
culvert, kind of homemade.
yeah, yep, and that one
They
too.
have back in the old days core.
Yeah,
CCC?
Yep, CCC, and then there's pipes on the end,
yeah.
and there's telephone line that goes over the top, and a telephone line that goes under the bottom.
On the south side of the whole road into
Yeah.
Red Willow, there's massive amounts of, there's rural water right there that's really shallow. They keep it running, you know, it runs all winter in order to keep it from freezing up. There's power in there, there's 2 or 3 phone lines, and they're all in the right of way, they're not off on the private land.
Yeah, because we had a hole in the road there
Yep,
15 years ago, 20 years ago probably, and we found out those lines were there underneath the culvert, above the culvert.
yep.
And I just decided to put a bunch of fabric in there. We put geotextile fabric over the top, filled it in with gravel, and it's been good until just the
Well,
last couple of years it's gotten a little worse.
like all that ditching for those 3 culverts on the east side of Butchie Stucca's there's phone lines and everything going through there because they couldn't get them
Yeah.
anywhere else. Everything came, and it's really a mess in there. If you look, there's 3 or 4 stands for the phone, the internet.
Yeah,
It all comes in right
There's
there.
probably all fiber optics,
It's a mess.
right? Fiber optics.
I expect so. I
Yeah.
totally remember. I would believe that and that wouldn't make any difference because the other infrastructure's in there, but I would guess that one water line isn't used as abandoned now because they put the new one
No,
around on the north side.
nope.
Still got water pipe in there.
No, that the one along the one along the road coming into Red Willow on the south side is still used.
Still is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That other one was secondary. The one along the road coming into Red Willow is so shallow that about 6 years ago we were cleaning up with the Bobcat there and we hit the water line about this far under.
Ooh.
And I asked them how doesn't that freeze? And they said, well, a controlled leak. And I don't know what that meant, but I think I know what that meant.
In some places. Run into the lake.
That works.
I mean, the slopes could be hauled in, dumped,
Yeah, it would just take a massive amount of work there.
take a bunch of dirt.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, it can be done. They just have to see if we can get it done.
Nice.
It would
Wow.
really help if we could, the slough on the north side of the road, if that could be cleaned, the culvert going underneath the highway could be cleaned out. That would make a big difference.
Yeah, so does that water come from the east side of the highway into that slough?
If it gets it comes, no, it comes out, it all goes to the east. Yeah. Yeah, it all goes to the east. So it comes from, the water there stays on the east side of the big hill. And, we go up the pavement there. If you look then to the south, there's that big draw that goes all the way down through Erickson's and away to the backside of Red Willow. All that water, all those springs run right through there, through the slough on our property there, and then out and all the way through Bob Messner's and then all down. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll look for some assistance.
Oh, is that your wishes that we apply for look for assistance for some of the money for this road? Not saying that will be
No,
enough
but
money to do it, but we have to start somewhere.
It's-
Start somewhere.
300,000 is our start.
Are you motion?
Need a motion for that, Wayne?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make that motion to apply for the grant for,
What was the name of that grant, Wayne?
yeah.
A special road funding project application,
That's close enough. This is by the state, or this is federal?
state,
Okay.
special road fund.
We have a motion by Edlin to apply for the special road funding project application, and this is to do with recreational areas. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Tranby. All in favor, signify.
Did I make the motion first or you?
She made the
Oh,
motion.
she did, okay. You beat me to
No,
it.
Tramby did.
I
You made
did.
the motion.
I made the motion.
All right.
Sorry, reverse.
Motion by Tranby. Are you gonna second?
I'll
it?
second that.
Second by Edlin. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Question on that.
Motion. Go ahead. Motion
Does the
approved.
commission have an active person working grants
No.
at all? Trying to get to add to
So,
these
well,
events or
in
not?
essence, firsthand, no, but in essence, yes. So through the Association of Counties, which Griggs County belongs to, is kind of the funnel for all the grants that are available, federal and state, and they work in order to keep the counties informed of what is available, what's coming up, and how they should move forward. Then the next step is then, depending on what the grant is used for, whether it be roads, whether it be whatever else it might be, it's passed on to the corresponding person within the county. In the road department, then the process goes to our engineer, because then nothing can be done on any of these grants or money coming from the state or the feds unless there's an actual engineering project, unless it's actually engineered.
So the county is supposed to know about it, whether it's federal or state.
We won't know,
Regardless,
the only way we
you'll-
will know about it is when it comes to us via the Association of Counties. And they're the clearinghouse for everything that's available. They don't miss, I don't think they miss anything because they're there for the whole state. And all the entities that are giving the grants and are making money available, process it through them. That sound correct, Wayne?
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff that comes, a lot of stuff comes from North Dakota State.
Yeah, and then the other way that we get all this information is with the engineers out hustling work. So they're very much aware of any grants or money available because they're going to be the first person to benefit from it, because nothing can be done without an engineering firm. So there's not any chance that we're missing out on any grants or monies. It's just that a lot of them come with rules and excess and money that we can't come up with. You know, if it's a $4 million project, we have to put 40% down. There's just not funding in Griggs County to do that. So it's a matter of pooling funds from the general fund and from the state and from all the different places we get money that is at our discretion, and then trying to use that discretionary money for our portion of these grants or federal or state projects is how it works. So, like for instance, let's just say this project was $1.5 million. The total budget, the total budget for Griggs County this year is 1.6. And that's for running everything. So there's nothing we can really do without help from the state or the federal or some other entity. And then our portion of it has to be fairly small as far as what they demand. Like this bridge that we're getting put in up north, that was 100% funded by the feds. Some of these other projects are 10, 5, some of them are 20.
80-20 mix a lot of times.
Yeah.
80-20.
Can there be percentages of a project, like let's just say half a mile? It's gotta be the whole
You'd end up
road going through
you'd
the
end
red willow
up
area. It couldn't be taking that worst spot.
you'd end up doubling up so many times on the engineering costs and all the infrastructure costs with it that it would, by the time you got the whole thing done, it might cost you triple what it was going to. And they don't allow that. They take the project in its totality, and that's just the way it is. In these small counties, there just isn't. If you tried to levy for the amount of money that's necessary to do everything that could be done, you would end up spending everybody's tax dollars just supporting the services. And in this case, we do have the road. We do have a mile and a half. Is it a mile and a half, Wayne, of between Binford at the correction curves out there that's still been gravel because we couldn't get the money in order to fix it completely, and that's been a priority. It's a school bus route. Gets traveled a lot. It's a correction curve. There's a danger to that one. Not only an inconvenience, that one's a danger. But that one doesn't have $300,000 for recreational. But there's other monies that we've been pushing for 3 years trying to get that one done. It's a scenic drive anyway. We'll just slow down.
I do.
But again, it isn't that it's not going to get done. It's priorities with everything else. The Hannaford Road has been another one that's taken a lot of money because of the elevator.
Going through Hannaford.
Yeah, going through Hannaford.
That'll be 100%.
That one we got 100%, so we're not going to. Yeah.
That was approved.
And the other thing that takes a lot of the funds is the sealing and chip sealing that has to go on these paved roads. We do get funding, non-discretionary funding from the state in the form of, they call it the Prairie Dog Fund. It comes from the oil, but we get that every 2 years, and it doesn't amount to $900,000 for every 2 years, so $450,000 a year. So it doesn't in the scope of these things, it doesn't make a big dent. It's helpful, but in the overall scope of it, it doesn't.
A lot of you on the board wouldn't know this, but years ago, previous commissions before, there was a grant to finish the pavement from the Langer corner off of, it's called the Langer corner off 45,
Mhm.
finishing it to the pavement to the Griggs County line to hook up with. They voted it down.
Yeah, you know, we're,
You know, it was just like,
Cause it wasn't,
we even had a legislator and a bunch of people in the area. Well, I could call it lobbying or just visiting with the commissioners and saying, hey, you know, this is really needed, but it was more,
I know what it was about. It
we're
was-
gonna
they didn't-
close
they-
down Cooperstown.
That's
if we
right.
fix that pavement. It's like,
I know what it was
are you-
about.
And now who owns the elevator?
Yeah, we don't, we have put a lot of projects on hold or delayed them, but not for any political reasons. It's always been because of money. We'll prioritize what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And
I think that
maybe,
one was more political.
sure it was. They didn't want the grain going
They
to
didn't.
Steele County. I mean,
Well, they, you know, and granted, if, whatever,
It's just-
like,
I'll do you one better. We don't have natural gas in Cooperstown. Why? Because by the time the natural gas was gonna come through here, the mayor of Cooperstown,
no small towns have it.
no, we would have had it. The mayor of Cooperstown was the LP dealer.
I don't know of any small towns that have it.
in the,
Yeah, we had the chance to have it.
and on that, back to that Langer corner there, wasn't the agreement with Steele County and us? The Steele County guys, commission said, we'll pave our side if you guys do your side, isn't that right?
I don't.
The pavement was already in.
Or was it already
On
in?
Steele County.
Yeah,
It
I
was,
don't
okay,
remember.
I can remember, okay.
This was a federal
Okay.
grant that came down, and a legislator at the time,
Okay,
and it was a grant.
cool.
Wayne, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, you'll keep us informed on that then.
I will. Do I need permission to have KLJ help with the writing up of the grant?
Well, if it's gonna involve funding, then we need to have an estimate, a bill, and in order to approve it, excuse me.
Wayne, one of the things that didn't get brought up in the last meeting was that 911 fee. I don't know if it got brought up before I got on, but
It's already
we're
done.
at the statutory limit. We can't increase our funding for the 911 fee. Did some research myself, and I actually talked to Jason Horning from the Association of Counties. We're at the limit, and we can't go any further.
Yep, we already discussed it and it's approved and signed, Jamie.
Okay.
So the 20 cents a line is gonna have to come out of the general fund. It's coming out of the 911 fund for now, for the next 6 months, correct, Wayne?
Well, it won't start until July.
Yeah,
So it'll be 6 months from July,
yeah,
but I believe there's enough there for the next year.
yep.
Be able to see what that 6 month cost us.
In the meantime, maybe the legislature will rein them in a little bit. Any chance of that, Jamie?
I don't know.
Okay. Wayne, that it?
Permission?
You need to make a motion
Did you
to.
vote?
No, we need to have the amount first.
Yeah, well,
So you need
We
to.
we can just tell them to give us estimates or whatever.
Yeah, you can talk to him, but I mean, we can't approve anything until we have an amount.
right, but he's gotta do some engineering
Yeah,
in order
that's
to.
fine.
Yeah, he'll have to have a contract in order to
Yeah.
move forward with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Can't put it in an address.
Okay, we're moving on. NDSU extension letter, looks like he moved on, he got a lot better job, moved up to be the head of the research station, the way it looks. NDSU will We don't hire him, so the NDSU will find somebody.
So he wasn't able to be here today because he had eco at camp, but he can be at, I think, the next meeting. And yeah,
No,
that's
it's,
all I
I
got.
mean, we don't, that's just, NDSU hires them and fires them and moves them on. I mean, NDSU hired him away from us. He went to Carrington to,
Do we need a motion to accept the letter of resignation?
we don't know because we don't
Okay.
hire them.
Okay, just checking.
And we do have a deputy in that office now.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
he hired
Who was it, Harry?
Sue Brooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sue Brooks got hired.
Okay.
So.
Jamie, you on?
With that
I am.
with that letter though, he's asking to keep his keys.
That if, he can only keep his keys as long as he's an employee. Once he's an employee, he can't have his keys.
Okay.
Correct? Jamie?
Well, that would not make any sense for him to keep his keys.
There we go. Very good. So, given that, on his last day, his keys and any belongings of Griggs County need to be surrendered to Griggs County, correct?
Correct, as well as his belongings taken, but yeah, that, never heard of that before where someone's kept their keys after their tenure.
You'll pass that on?
I will.
Okay.
Well, Jamie, you're on here. This is the last thing you need to do for us. Employee background checks.
You guys have
Alright.
some information.
I,
This was partly due to trying to hire somebody or people that were hired via the county agent, correct? That we had some discrepancies there.
other employees brought concerns to me, and that's how this started.
That's what, yep.
I don't think it's a bad idea to have a policy. I did submit two to Samantha, one that I drafted myself, and one that was kind of plagiarized from other counties. I think that there's department heads. I don't see. We probably should have a general policy in place, and leave it up to the department heads. Probably the background checks with the driving records. That one I submitted to you guys. That probably would be the simplest one. Leaves it up to the discretion of pretty much the department head. It's a little bit more difficult to put this into policy and have influence over it since there's elected officials. So I think ultimately it should be left to the department head to determine how they want to do a background check. But with that said, I think we probably should have something in the policies or our hiring policies. If someone does want to do that, it's within their discretion for them to have the ability to do that.
Let me see.
My concern on that is if you don't do background checks on everybody and you choose one person, not the other person, now we can get some discrimination in there because it involves either you do everybody or you do nobody. That's my personal thought there. And to run a background check, it's 2.3 seconds. It's put the information online, it gets back to you. And you're.
If we leave it to
You're
the
done.
department heads, we're gonna have 5 or 6 different policies throughout the county. We
Yeah.
can't do that, Jamie.
I'm an
The
all
whole
in.
purpose of it is to try to make that everybody is operating under the same policy. We can't leave it to the discretion of the department heads because just discretion means they can or they can't.
Right. That's how we got in this situation in the first place.
That's what I was gonna say. That's where we could we'll say leave it the way it is if that's what's gonna happen.
Well, and generally, I don't think we've had a problem with that practice, but I guess I think that we should have something within the policy. My opinion is that it is a good thing to do background checks. we have people that are, my office deals with confidential information. The auditor's, treasurer's, recorder's office deals with confidential information. Extension deals with children. The sheriff's office, they're required by the post board to have background checks done. I think it's the proper thing to do, and I think that it's doing our due diligence.
Well, let me point something out. The fact that this has now been aired in a public meeting puts the responsibility for all this onto the county commission and the state's attorney. No, now, if we don't have a background check, if we don't have a strict policy in place and something happens, everything comes uphill.
I think I've shared this with you before, the one that we use at Netta Parkview at the nursing facility. And it says the facility will conduct employee background checks, fraud, reference checks, and criminal conviction checks on the person making an application for employment. It's very short, sweet, and simple. It just states that we are going to run a background check on everybody. And if they are clear of anybody being convicted of abuse, neglect, mistreatment of individuals, or theft of property, the applicant will not be employed and will be terminated, from the employment. Sweet, simple. This is what we're looking for. We go 5 years back. Anything prior to that, we always say only go 5 years back. That short, sweet, simple, I think, it's one quick page.
It needs, we have a little bit more diverse employee group here, so it would have to be, for the road department side of it would have to be a little bit more expanded to include
driving
records.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
DV.
But,
Well, not only the road department, but anybody that drives a county vehicle.
Yeah.
We have sheriff's department, we have NDSU. They all drive vehicles that
County.
the county owns and insures.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so I think we should send this back to you, Jamie, and have you put some more teeth in it.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll send you mine, Jamie, if you, I don't know.
Okay, that works.
And anything else in this?
No,
Do you want
keep going. Go ahead, Jamie.
For things such as the driving record, do you want specific departments named in that? NDSU, Highway Department, and Sheriff's Department? Is that what you're looking for?
I'd cover it.
I don't know if you need the departments in there per se, because then I just say anybody who's driving
Who's driving
counting
a county
equipment.
vehicle, I guess, which is.
Okay.
There's also some companies use driving record not only to specifically limit somebody driving their vehicle that has a poor driving record, but they use it as a indicator of judgment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you've got a desk job and you have 15 DWIs, you could still be hired, but that doesn't mean that you showed good judgment and should be an employee. This thing gets so complicated when you start going down this road on what do we allow and what we don't allow.
Well, in an instance such as that, John, that would go back to the criminal record too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know how this should be, but I do know the fact that now we're talking about it, that if we leave something out and it happens, now we've put the county and the state's attorney into a position that we don't want to be in.
Right.
Well, I'll continue researching it and come up with something for you guys for next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds good, Jamie.
Thank you.
This is a complicated one.
Yeah.
Bank signatures.
I just need a motion from you guys to take the previous employees off of the bank and adding Robin Williams, please.
What are the names for the previous employees?
It would be Chelsea. Yes, I think that's the only one. So Chelsea McMillan's name taken off and adding Robin Williams.
We need a motion to take Kelsey McMillan's name off the authorization to for the different banks, signatures needed to conduct banking, and we need who?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams added.
I'll make that motion.
Wonderful.
I'll second.
Motion by Zorn, second by Edlin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we come to Tranby's favorite one, beer and liquor license.
Cool.
So this one is different. So in the past, this liquor license was for Tiffany Davidson and Storm Ralph.
Correct, yeah.
Storm's name is now being taken off of it, so she just needs an updated liquor license. So we didn't collect the fees for this because I left the the expire date the same. It was just
A name change.
name change, taking it off. So if you guys are okay with that, Jamie did say that was fine. So
Jamie? Does the state license reflect that?
yep. So I talked to her because
Okay.
I was like, well, can you just keep the license that you have? And she said, no, I need a updated one with his name off.
No, but I mean, so their state license is Tiffany Davidson?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, and that alone.
Yep. So she's working on all of that. She just needs this before she can update the state stuff.
We'll need a motion to grant Sutton Sports Bar and Grill a beer and retail liquor license to Tiffany Davidson as the owner operator. Managing agent, I guess is what it says.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Tranby to issue the retail liquor license and beer license to Sutton Sports Bar and Grill under the management of Tiffany Davidson. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. License is approved. Old courthouse, new courthouse.
You guys have audit too. Audit
Yep.
and sales ratio study.
Nothing?
Thank you.
Sales ratio study.
Any updates on that? Where are we with it?
Nothing.
Have we heard anything from the states? Nobody will do it for us?
Nope.
Have we reached out to anybody to see if they would do it for us? What is our game plan?
I mean, we've exhausted our, as far as I can see, we've exhausted our options. We conducted our obligations as far as equalization by letting as we always have, by letting the townships value their properties, and then by letting the cities value their properties, and we accepted their valuations. That's perfectly acceptable under North Dakota law, that the sales ratio study doesn't have to be used, and besides that, Griggs County doesn't have any county valued property, assessed property, so we couldn't use it ourselves anyway. The city could actually have a sales ratio study if they wanted to, they choose not to. So it's really up to the state. The state is the one that uses a sales ratio study, but it doesn't specify sales ratio study, that it doesn't specify that we have to do the sales ratio study. We have to supply them with the information necessary. So I don't know what they're gonna do. We have done everything that we can do. Why would the state try to punish our citizens for something that is out of their hands? So, I mean, it isn't, the sales ratio study isn't important to anybody in Griggs County. Everybody's supposed to be done with their budgets, and the mill levy value is not supposed to be used for budgeting. We didn't use it, no one uses it. So the sales ratio study is secondary after the budgets are done. And of course, we don't have any control over the valuation of the farmland either, and which is the one that really makes a difference in the value of the mill. The farmland is 85% of it. So what do we do? Don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the state does.
I thought the sales ratio study was a key part of figuring the mills for the counties and equalization, and that's what I thought, that was part of it. But I mean,
I've read it to you quite a few times. It is not.
okay. Well,
I mean, so we didn't use it. We never have. The way that we do it is the way that it's always been done in Griggs County. We allow the townships to value the properties in their township, and they assess them. There's so few of them, they assess them on a yearly basis, just as everybody. If you do the equalization, everything has to be assessed on a yearly basis, whether it be by direct assessment or by comparison. And then we allow the cities, and we saw the changes the cities sent in to us. We saw the changes the townships. Our part of equalization is when we accepted those. To do anything else really causes problems. If we would have went to Spirit Township and we would have said, we don't think that your valuations are correct, we're going to raise or lower those. They'd say, well, on what basis? We already decided what these values are. Here's what they are, and that's where they should stay. And that's how the process is supposed to work. The state has the ability to step in and adjust valuations, and I don't know why they want to, but they do. But we don't have to have a sales ratio study, and we've never found it necessary to use one, because how would you use it? And besides that, the state tells us what the values are. We can say we want to devalue these properties by 40%, or we want to raise them by 50%, and none of that would have any bearing. They'd tell us, here's what it's going to be. Same with the farmland. We have no control over that anymore. NDSU conducts the valuations of land, of the farmland, compared to the commodity prices, and they tell the state what the valuation of the land is, and the state tells us what to raise the valuations to. So that's where it's at. We'll just, when they decide what the valuation is, we'll have to either agree with it or disagree with it and act accordingly. Anything else in the sales ratio study? Okay, so then we have the audit, and it looks like after quite a bit of time here, they've agreed with the way that we want to do our audits, and that should clear the path for doing the ones that are outstanding yet, correct?
so he's gonna have Harold send off the next year's. Just keep rolling with it, Harold. Just keep sending them.
It seems like we've got past the hurdle, doesn't
As
it?
long as that's
Yep.
opinions in there, I think they'll be fine with it. So just
Yes,
have Harold just keep
yes,
sending.
Yeah, that, as far as I'm concerned.
He did, let me find it here.
Because I think they can only process 1 year at a time, so you can't send the next year's until the first year's done, just in case you need to make changes, so. As long as you give Harold the okay to keep sending and.
But we've finally gotten to the point that we were at before, where they agreed with our assessment of this building and how it should be presented on our statements, and now they've agreed with it. They have agreed to not to disagree, put it that way. But we're fine. We're going now. It goes forward. I kind of think that the whole process, I think the state got so backed up during COVID that they tried to dump some workload, and I think that's because there's a bunch of them that are in the same position. So we should just be able to go forward. Harold should be able to turn them in, and we should be.
Harold
fine.
messaged me this morning and said he attached the 2019 audit, and then he says he's working on the 2020 and 2021 reports. Am I good to tell him to go ahead and file?
All in favor of allowing? Oh,
What?
So move.
motion by Edlund to allow Harold to move forward with the audits. Second by
I'll second that.
Zorn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. down the road we go. Old courthouse, new courthouse, we didn't have anything there.
No.
No. Future business.
Future business, we'll talk about the COVID funds
Yeah.
and
Can we throw on tax director on there? Can we start advertising for a contract, see if anybody's interested to start 2025? Tax director, even if we take a contract or,
Then Jamie will have something for us.
On the background check.
Background check.
Okay, so background.
And what about County 8? Can we discuss that some more maybe next time, please?
Which one's 8?
Macro, McHenry Macro Road, Binford Road,
Oh,
County Road. County.
yeah.
Let's put that,
Yeah, I mean,
let's put that
put that on, put it in the
Yeah.
road department, have
Yeah,
Wayne give
Wayne.
us an update on it. It's ongoing as
I
we
know,
speak.
but bring it up again. Just,
You know, it never has left the agenda. It's always been in the road department,
Yeah.
always been working towards it.
And tax director.
Yeah, we do have, we applied for a grant for that, along with the Hanford project.
Yeah,
kind of, yeah,
It was turned down, but I requested the local people to come up with some letters of support.
yeah.
We could attach to that, we can just send it in. You still have that grant request on
That-
file.
Yeah,
We can add some
yeah.
local opinions on it.
That one's gonna be so expensive and so time consuming because the road isn't wide enough. So now we gotta widen the road, but we're widening the road going through wetland areas.
we have to raise it up, right, Wayne?
So we're gonna be
Raise it up.
dumping,
Fill.
dumping fill into wildlife wetland areas, and now you brought about 3 other agencies into this thing. It's gonna be such a mess.
I know, but
I mean, we gotta get it done, but it's gonna be years
I-
down the road. That's why we did what we did there, because we didn't have to have any permits.
we just did it.
We just,
We got permits. We
yeah,
got
but we
Fish and
didn't
Wildlife
alter the,
And the Corps of Engineers, they
Yeah.
agreed to our plan at that time, but now when we're gonna go wider.
wider, yeah. I mean, they gave us permission because we weren't changing anything.
Yeah. We're still within the right of way, and I think they'll still be within the right of way when the road is constructed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll look back again, but on my map, it shows it's like 100 feet wide.
Yeah,
So,
but that's what's causing us so many holds up with this thing is the money. I mean, it's gonna be millions of dollars to do that.
I think the last, well, of course, it's gonna go up, estimate was like 2 million.
2.6, I thought, yeah.
Because we did a lot of it in the beginning.
Yeah.
We raised up, west end, we went up more than,
I mean, if we could just pave it, but I mean, even just to pave it the way it is probably $1 million. And then once you do that, now you threw away any chance of any other grants or anything else, because now the project isn't to spec, and they'd have to tear it all out and start over again.
yeah. If we had a whole bunch of time and a bunch of men, we could do it ourselves as far as raising it up.
Yeah, the county could, but if we
Yep.
try to use another contractor in order to do that, we gotta put out in bids. In order to put out in bids, we have to have an engineering plan, and there you're halfway down the road to that $3 million.
Right.
Because you can't put it on bids without a detailed engineering plan, and that's gonna be,
Not cheap.
20%.
you know, there's been some proposals that people wanna do it and it costs, but you can't just say do it without putting it out on bids.
No.
Other than if the county did it. And we don't have the ability to do that anymore. Don't have the equipment or the,
Manpower. Used to have scrapers, we had 2 scrapers and, yeah, operators for all.
yeah. So we gotta go down the approved method of doing this, and it's painful, long, drawn-out process. Any other future business?
If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Tranby
I'll second
to
that.
adjourn.
Good
Second by Zorn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. 10:30. Next regular meeting, September 23rd in this room.